Look at this comment here, and I see a lot of this sentiment out there. Hilarious Barbie thinks she's drawing any attention whatsoever. Folks wouldn't come fill a high school gym to watch them. CC is the only draw for this trash league. You think WNBA players see something like that and it doesn't make them feel a certain type of way? You understand how that could make somebody feel a certain type of way? Now, the problem here is that Caitlin Clark has done nothing to do this herself or create comments like that, create talk like that. She has only said positive things about those who have come before her. She has only complimented her opponents. She has only taken what is happening in the initiation phase, if you will, in stride. And she's put her head down and played basketball. I mean, she even gave a nod to those who came before her on Saturday Night Live, which is a huge, huge platform. So none of this has anything to do with Caitlin Clark. And let me be, well, herself. Let me be very clear, too. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark and her fans, this channel would not be growing the way it is. That's just true, right? And as far as the growth in the game, I've said it over and over and over again. Caitlin Clark is the catalyst. She is the driving force. The attendance numbers say it. The ratings numbers say it. The jersey sales say it. The college ratings say it. Any way to measure it says it. Any way to measure it says it. However, if you are a woman in the WNBA who knows you can really play, and you're constantly hearing, go back to your charter or go back to your commercial flights, get off the charters, and go back to irrelevancy without Caitlin. You should be thanking her. People are not going to like that. There's a way to recognize what Caitlin has brought to the game and the attention that Caitlin has brought to the game without trashing everyone else in the league and without acting like these other women cannot play ball. And I think that's even part of what Angel Reese was saying, right? I played her comments in the other video, but here's some of what was cut out.
Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
So a lot of us. Now, I still think Angel's comments came off a little jealous in the, context of all the conversation around Caitlin Clark, but they were also taken slightly out of context, as I just presented to you there. I didn't see that initial comment in the first video I did. And I want to make sure I share one other comment that I did get, because it was a super chat that was brought in, and that was regarding Angel Reese. JN8052 says, Angel, like a lot of Black people in society, feel underappreciated for their accomplishments and not protected or given the same treatment as others. Now, I look, Angel Reese, as I've said, I believe has a fan base and certainly has people following her. And the Mystics moved one of their games against the Chicago Sky. So I do think there is something to the rivalry and the hype that's been created. At the same time, it's not the same level of attention and love and shine that Caitlin Clark has gotten. And I don't think it's anything nefarious. I saw another comment saying, it's media bias. I think it's just what people want to hear about, what people want to talk about, to be honest with you. And Caitlin Clark has moved the needle because her game is so dynamic and for, a myriad of other reasons we don't always have to get into. And Caitlin has actually played well too. Like, it's funny because she gets hated on so much due to the backlash to the hype that people are trying to tear her down. But she was the rookie of the month, deservedly so. Deservedly so. And I want this to be, I'm going to do a very positive theme show a little later. I want this to be kind of the last dive into the drama, if you will. But I also want to use it to shine a little positive light on some of the other talent in the WNBA, because there's no way. I went to the Liberty game with my daughter. There is no way you could go to that game and not have respect for those women's bowlers on that New York Liberty team. That is a real bona fide team. And you look across the league, and the WNBA is where bigs still thrive, right? Bigs would thrive. And Asia Wilson has beautiful touch. She moves up and down the floor so fluidly. The Fisa Collier is also, a big who's got that touch and can finish around the basket, can stretch it out. Erica Hamby is scoring for the Sparks. Obviously, Breanna Stewart, last year's MVP. Arike from Dallas has so much bounce to her game. She's leading the WNBA in scoring. That's moving away from the bigs for a second. Fun to watch. Jackie Young on the Vegas Aces. I was so impressed with her. Just a guard who can do everything. A great two-way player. Diana Taurasi, the legend. Shout out to the legend, Diana Taurasi, who was my favorite player growing up. So much spice and sizzle. I think that's what she really brought. People were like, yo, when they first saw Taurasi play, and she still put up 30-plus points the other day. Sabrina Ionescu obviously was in the three-point shootout against Steph Curry. And I'm sure I'm missing some women that deserve shine. The rookie class, I've talked about it. Rakia Jackson's been efficient. Cameron Brink, a defensive monster. Camila Cardoso is going to be a force because she's so big and so coordinated. Then the next wave, Paige Beckers is a 3-level scorer. Juju Watkins is going to threaten Caitlin Clark's college records, and she's got that bounce. Juju is I think, going to be a sensation. So I just did want to use that moment there to highlight that, you watch the Las Vegas Aces play, or the Connecticut Sun play, or the Minnesota Lynx play, or the New York Liberty play. You cannot come away thinking that that's a bad product or those are bad basketball teams. And I think some of the fans are a little out of pocket at times it's not that it's untrue. It's not that the sentiment behind it is untrue. Caitlin Clark has brought tons of eyeballs to the league and the sport and deserves her flowers for that. You'll never hear me say otherwise. I'm covering her 24/7, basically. And this is not all Caitlin Clark fans either, right? Like, I was on the train with my daughter with some Caitlin Clark fans, Iowa fans who would come up to see the game at Barclays, and we were laughing about some of the reaction from fans. Because in real life, I don't think this is happening the same way. It's a lot of, unfortunately, in today's society, so many of us are online, so you're hearing about this stuff all the time. But I do just want to caution, like, Caitlin has done nothing to engender this backlash, to bring on this backlash. But when these other women who are getting more attention and the league is getting more attention and it's being talked about, and they hear, you should be thanking her. How could you possibly, feel a certain type of way about this when your relevancy depends on her? Nobody's going to like hearing that. That's all. So I think we can do all this with a little bit more respect. Respecting what Caitlin Clark has done and respecting the fact that we should be paying positive attention to everybody as a result.